What's up, everybody? Dang, I went a fingernail. Trying to talk and do something, chew gum and walk. Like snot on a #2 pencil. It's hard to get wiped off. I mean, if we had that kind of money, we'd have Milwaukee tools and a 2-post lift. All right, welcome back. Today we've got the crusty 87 back in here. You've not seen the long bed to short bed conversion we done. Tried to do it in a weekend. If you remember when we was dropping the back, we put 3-inch lowering shackles on it. So today we're going to do a poor boy drop on the front. We're going to pull the coil springs out, cut one round off. I'm hoping that should get it around 2 inches lower in the front. That should set the gap between the front tar and the back tar pretty close to the same. So we're going to set up here, time lapse, get the wheel and all on, get the ball joint, upper ball joint knocked loose, try to get the springs out. And man, like everything else, I ain't even gonna say it shouldn't take too long because everything ends up taking 5 times longer when I say that. So we're gonna get it set up here, get with it, see what we can mess up. Hopefully not. He's got to drive us back home. So all right, so we're gonna get a measurement here. We're hoping one coil should take around 2 inches from everything we've read. We're going to try the measurement deal. A lot of people say if you cut 1 inch off the coil spring, should do a 2-inch drop. Is that right? So right now we're at about 32 1/4. Tire height's 27, so there's about 5 1/4 between there. We're going to try to get it down to about 3 1/4. That'll be the same gap from the top of the tire to the lip of the fender. I know a lot of people don't like cutting the coil spring. They say the ride's awful, but I mean, if the ride's bad, he can go buy some drop springs in. I mean, if we had that kind of money, we'd have Milwaukee tools and a 2-post lift. So we're going to get at it. We're going to get it jacked up, get the frame blocked up, get the wheels off, and try to get the top ball joint knocked loose. All right, so I've take the brake line bracket loose. They should be enough on this for the lower control arm to swing down, get the spring out. Pulled the cotter pin out. Back the nut off. Don't take the nut all the way off. It'll let it kind of hold. Whatever you do, make sure you got the vehicle blocked up and put a jack under that lower control arm to keep pressure on that spring. You don't want to just knock that loose and that thing come flying out. You'll be missing some limbs. I don't know who greased the ball joint last, but whatever you do, try to get the grease in the ball joint. Like they just pumped the top of it and I guess thought it was greased. There's half a tube up there. So I still got tension on this with the jack. I'm going to take the nut off the top of the ball joint and get around there. Y'all know I ain't a very good filmer. And get that nut backed off. Get this spindle laid down. Get that picked up. See if we can, hopefully this will drop enough to let the spring out without taking the shock off. We'll get set back up here and see. All right, so got the upper ball joint nut off. Still got the jack under the lower control arm. Got the truck blocked up on the frame. So now just ease the jack down real slow and should release all the tension on the spring. I don't want to be in front of it in case it flies out of there. All right, I forgot the tie rod in. take it loose too, get a little bit more droop. And we're gonna have to pull the shocks off. We're gonna jack it back up here, get the shock off of it. Be sure and don't pull that shock off without loading some tension back on that spring. All right, so now we should be ready, maybe. Got the tie rod in, knocked loose, shock bolted out. Now we're gonna lower it down, see if it'll go far enough to let the spring come out. All right. I'm gonna get out from in front of that thing again. Hold it. Oh, leave that jack under there so we can just a little bit, just so it ain't pulling on that brake line. That's good. All right. All right, so now we've got it. A-arm swung down. It ought to be easier to go back in since it's going to be shorter. All right, so I didn't film it, but be sure and go ahead and take your brake caliper off. You don't want to stretch that hose out too far and end up having to replace the brake hose. So from what we've read, most people say for every inch here is pretty close to 2 inches on the truck. So what we're going to do, one full coil right in here should take an inch off of it. If those calculations are right, that should set it down 2 inches with the weight. Taking an inch off of this should. We're going to try it. I mean, if nothing else, it's going to be an inch lower. So I was really thinking about right down in here somewhere, but he said that was a bit too much. So we're going to get the grinder and a cutoff wheel and cut just a little over a round off of this spring, put it back in there, and see how it does.
Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah.
All right, so we got a coil cut off of it. We're now at 13. We're gonna slap that in there and hope it don't drop at 5 inches. Be about our luck the way things go. And like I said, a lot of people don't like to cut these, but I mean, if it don't ride good, I mean, what's he out? He's going to change the springs regardless either way. So we're going to try this, see how it does. I don't think cutting just one coil off the bottom is going to make a whole lot of difference in the ride. If you got into a couple of them, you'd really start seeing a difference in it. But we're going to slap these back in there, get it jacked up, start on the other side, and see how it all turned out. We got the coil cut. I had to take a little bit more. I'll show you on the other side, or we will. It's there's a pocket right there. I don't know how people cut half coil and let it sit back here, but we end up cutting it to where it would line back up with that because there's kind of a D on the top of these springs. and pocket they sit in on the top. So we're going to jack it back up, get the ball joint put on, and tie rod in, brake caliper. Don't forget, go ahead and do your brake caliper. I didn't. I tried to do it without it, but it needs it. So go ahead and remove that first thing, that, and you tie rod in. Then you can take that upper ball joint loose, drop it all down, take the shock off. It's really not been that bad of a job, just trying to figure out where to cut that spring for sure, to where it'll set back in the pockets right. So I'm gonna set it back up on a time lapse here. This is time lapse. I don't really work that fast, so we're gonna get back at it, get it put together, and we'll do the other side. All right, so we've got it back together with the coil cut off of it. First thing, take your brake caliper off. Take the brake caliper line. I zip tied it up here to the idler arm. Pull the shock bolt out. Take your tie rod end loose. And then take this top ball joint loose. Just back the nut off enough. Get it loose. I used a pickle fork. I don't really like using those, but you know, I hit it with a hammer and it wouldn't pop. The way these are made, it didn't bust a boot. It just pretty well pried against them right there and popped loose. So we'll get the other side finished up and get the wheels back on it, see how it looks. All right, so you can see we cut a full round off of the coil spring. That's almost an inch off it, which is supposed to be 2 off of the other. When you go to put the spring back in, there's kind of a D-shaped pocket that sets in at the top. Just make sure you kind of get that lined up. I don't know how people cut half rounds off of them, and I guess you could, but if you cut a full round, this is going to set back in the pocket on the A arm for the spring. So if anybody's curious, I mean, you can kind of see where we've welded the bed floor back together. Once he gets truck bed liner in here, we're going to try to Raptor liner. You'll not see that as much. Actually, I don't think you'll see it at all. You might see a spot or two, but for the most part, it all lined back up really good. But I tell you, telltale sign to tell if a truck's been cut down, the short beds don't have the center stake pocket. I see some people take the pain of welding these up, but you can still see where it's been in here. So that's kind of a telltale sign if one's been cut down or not. But this truck, when we cut it down, if you ain't watched the videos on it, go watch them. It got so hot, we was just trying to get done. I didn't film as much as I'd like to have, but all in all, this truck turned out, I mean, really, really, really good. I mean, he could probably, if he ever wanted to paint it, put a slick paint job, he's talked about painting it back the blue and charcoal that it was. It would probably turn out pretty good. It's getting a little bit of like I said, the bed was really good, but it's getting some bubbles over the wheel wells. If it was mine, I'd leave it just like it is. I like the looks of it. Say when? Now? When? So we got it finished up, cut one coil off. We just measured it. We started out at 32 1/4. We bounced up and down on it a little bit. It's down to 30 and, let me grab a tape measure. I think about 30 3/8, so it almost went 2 inches. It's got the gap between the tar and the wheel well just about the same on both of them. So we're at 30 and 5/16. It's actually went down just a little more. So I think it's going to settle in one coil right at 2 inches of drop on it, and it looks a whole lot better. As you can see, he's still rocking the Tennessee Balls orange wheels, but may have to wait till after ball season to paint them. And I don't know that we've done a video of since he took the all-terrains off. If you watch the Geo Tracker video, those all-terrain tires went on the Geo. But he's got two 65/70/15s on the rear. We done the 3-inch shackle drop when we shortened the truck. And also he's got two 35/75/15s on the front. And it looks good. The stance wanted just a little bit of rake. It's almost got the factory rake back, just lowered down a little bit. And I'll have to say it looks like a completely different truck between the shortening and the drop. It looks good. And I don't know if he wants anybody to know, but the truck's for sale, right? Is it still? Okay, so it's not for sale no more. He had it on Marketplace for a little while. Actually, for the right money, it'd be for sale. And the truck is painted to look, you know, on the cut down video on the second one, I put pictures of what the truck originally looked like. The truck is solid and straight. It was almost a shame to cut the bed on it, but the guy had it before, painted it to look old. So, and it looks good to me. I told him I wouldn't ever paint it. You ain't got to worry about somebody dinging it, scratching it. But all in all, the truck has turned out great. We found out the top shock bolts are a little bit loose. We're going to try to tidy that up, but we're pretty well done with this project. And I'll have to say it looks, I like the looks. I like the stance. So it's 2-inch drop in the front with one coil cut out. And we got 3-inch lower and shackles in the back. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Hopefully somebody can get something out of it. Like, comment, subscribe. We've got more coming on the 83, and hopefully, I know winter's coming. Like I've said, it's hard to get out here and work. You know, we've just got a small 2-car garage, but I'm going to do some junkyard digging for the 67 this winter when it cools off and the briars die down for the front and rear end out of it'll be out of a square body. Just going to do the whole cross member swap. It's also going to get shortened. I was kind of going to wait till I got my garage built to start on it, but I don't know if I can wait that long, depending on if I get the 83 finished up. So that's going to be it for this video. Like I said, these ain't really how-to. It's just kind of, you know, get the determination to go out and do something. It kills me to have to go in and sit in the house. So when I get off work, I'm always piddling with something out here. So stick around. There's going to be another video on the 83 here pretty soon. And thanks.